Hey, I hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be just a really quick React installation guide and a slight onboarding tutorial explaining some of the most important things you want to know right before you start your first React project. So, there's a few ways to install React, but we're going to be using the standalone way, which uses Node.js and Node's package manager in order to download React as basically a library and a framework. So first thing we want to do is install Node itself, which we can go from just searching up Node.js, clicking on the first link, and download for Windows or Mac or whatever you have. I would recommend most likely the stable release rather than the current release. So go ahead and download that. I already have it downloaded. So pause the video here and get it downloaded before we continue. Okay, so if you have Node.js downloaded, to check if you actually have it downloaded, go ahead and open up your command terminal and go ahead and type node v, which basically will show the current version of Node that we're running on. I'm a little outdated here with my version, but it's not a big deal. Also do the same thing for npm v, which will show us the version of npm that we're on, which stands for Node Package Manager, which is how we're going to download libraries such as React into our project. So once we have that, go ahead and go to the root folder of where you want to start up your React project. By root folder, I mean not the folder where you're going to be putting all of your source file, but the folder where you want to initialize the folder where your project is going to go. So I'm going to want to create my project right here. So what I'll do is right click inside the folder and open in terminal, which will basically open the path here in the terminal so I can run my command directly in the correct directory. However, if you can't do that, make sure you copy the path of the folder and open up a terminal, and you can do cd, which stands for change directory basically, and then quotation marks and then paste the path. And once we've done that, we're in the path. Okay, so back to here. The command we want to run is npx, which is basically the Node Package Manager, but instead of installing, we're going to be basically running the given command. And the command is going to be create React app. And then the name of the folder where you want your project. So let's just name it React app or React tutorial. Once we do that, it's going to download a bunch of things. It's a slightly slow process depending on your internet speed, but I will be back when it's completed. Okay, so it seems like my command has stopped running and it's completed. Ignore the vulnerabilities, just make sure that the whole thing has finished. Now what we can do is we see that it has automatically created the folder name that we gave it. Click into it, and this is your Node project with React already pre-installed and a bunch of other libraries and Node modules. So let's go ahead and open up this folder in your favorite code editing software. For React and any JavaScript project, I recommend Visual Studio Code. Let's go ahead and open that up. And first thing I want you to look at is the package.json file. This file is basically like sort of a blueprint for your whole project. It stores a lot of metadata for your project, such as the dependencies and a lot of other miscellaneous stuff that you can add. These are all the dependencies that we have currently installed by running that command. Most important ones are these three that have to do with React. You can ignore all of this for now. The most important part would be the scripts. If you ever find yourself trying to debug, or just you come across a new node project, uh, you can look into the package.json and the scripts will tell you what command does what. So, for example, let's open up the terminal. You can also go here and click new terminal. The start command will execute this, which is already pre-written for us. So let's go ahead and type that up. So how we execute a script from here would be npm run, which basically tells the package manager that we're running a command that we're about to type, and that command will be start, given here. Let's go ahead and type that up. And our project is currently compiling. And it automatically opened up a new web browser where the project has been loaded. It'll default to localhost since we're not actually hosting this website, we're just running it off of our local machine. So there it is currently. This is what the template came with when we ran the create React app command earlier. So the first things that we can see is, let's open up the source folder. This is where most of your important files will be. You never need to touch the node modules folder. Those are your dependencies. Git ignore will be important when you start using GitHub. So first thing we want to do is open up app.js, as this is where the template has its basically parent component, which is the app. So if we go up here, we can kind of see the basis of what the template simply returns. Think of this as HTML for now. It's actually something a little different. It's called JSX, in which you can basically write HTML components inside of JavaScript. So that is all given here. The good thing about React is, instead of having to recompile your project every time you make a change, like in other languages or other frameworks, you can simply just edit something, and if you Control S to save that file, React will automatically recompile and update the changes without having to restart your whole process. So if I want to instead edit source, whatever it says here, we can see that it's given right here, that line that shows up here. So if we do hello world, I like cheese. Let's Control S, and it automatically compiled down here, and if we go back, it has updated. We can, just like this, we can change anything. By the way, if you start a completely blank project, it will obviously not look like this. A lot of CSS has also gone behind this to make it look the way it does. Stuff like that we can change here. Like we can change, let's say, the color of, the link. Let's go ahead and change it to, let's just make it all white. Compile, and bam, the link is white now. Just like this, this is basically the same as using like any of your other HTML and CSS files. And honestly, that's about it for the basic startup of your React app.